Devin, even though Rosenhaus told NFL Network last night that the goal is to work something out with the Jets, apparently there's a window, day or two, for him to try to retrade Haason Reddick, because it was a trade from the Eagles to the Jets. There may be a narrow window here before they go back to it's either, play for the Jets or stay home, a narrow window to trade him to a new team.
I could understand that because, like you said, when I first saw the report that his agency was firing, I was like, wow, they're just giving up that percent. That means it must have really turned into a headache. But then on the other hand, I'm like, what is a new agent going to change when you talk about the deal that's in place? It's either kind of a yes or no at this point, because I got to imagine the team and whoever the other agent was, they were rolling through a lot of different scenarios, different contracts or whatever. So I got to imagine they're at a point where it's either you sign or you don't sign, but I think that's the key, what you just said, of whatever Rosenhaus's relationships are throughout the league, if he can broker a trade. But, I mean, again, for another team, what are you willing to trade for a guy who now hasn't played football in a long time, missed all of training camp? Now we're 6 weeks into the regular season. It would be scary to think that a team is going to think that Haason Reddick can come in and just perform at that same level. If he does, credit to him, but that's a tough adjustment to not play and come on and be expected to be a big-time provider and helper for a successful football team.
You asked the question, what would you willing to trade? Excuse me, English can be difficult for me at times. Ask the Lions what they'd be willing to trade right now. Desperation can create that willingness. No Aiden Hutchinson. We're going to talk about that later in the program. Got a need now. And I don't know, it's probably easier to plug and play a pass rusher. I know you need to know the rest of the defense around you, but if you're just a situational pass rusher, not that I don't want to demean the position, it's an important one, but if that's all you do, it's not like it takes a lot of time to mesh with your teammates. You just go out there, you get around the edge, and you try to get to the quarterback. So I think that, and this is the thing, whether it's Devontae Adams, pick your player, any potentially disgruntled player. I mean, there's some rumbling out there that maybe Matthew Stafford would like to finish the season, with a contending team. An injury changes everything. We got 3 more weekends of football. We saw the Aiden Hutchinson injury. All of a sudden, there could be a market in Michigan for Haason Reddick and get this thing all worked out to everyone's satisfaction. So keep an eye on that. I know I will be, but I'm getting some indications that there's apparently a short window for Rosenhaus to work out a trade, and he does have those relationships throughout the league. And that's just the reality. We're 3 weeks away from the trade deadline. And, Devin, if you've got needs, that you can either sign somebody off the street who's available at this point for a reason, or you can go ahead and make a trade.
And we've seen both happen. We've seen some guys get picked up late in the season and have, big years for teams, for contenders. They come in, they stay ready, and they're able to play a pivotal role. And we've seen big-time trades happen that change the outlook of some of these teams' postseason play. So very interesting time. I think this has to be vetted out very well by all of the teams that get involved in making a trade. But being in New England, Coach Belichick used to always talk about that. Sometimes you get key injuries, and you have to be ready, and you have to have a list of guys that you think might be available for trade, or guys that have been on the street that you've worked out and that you feel comfortable with, bringing them in and making a difference on your team. Because when you have a window to win a championship, the Detroit Lions have been good last year and now this year, where they still look like a team that can make it to a Super Bowl. You don't want to let that just pass by and think, you know what, we'll get Aiden back next year and the year could be now. So whoever the pass rusher or defensive end that can come and take some of the burden off of other guys that they lose because of Aiden Hutchinson's injury, you got to think about making a big move, even if it doesn't work out overall for years to come. But if it can net you a Super Bowl appearance this year, I think Brad Holmes, the GM for the Lions, I think he'll be looking to make a move like that.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.